Good afternoon and welcome to East Brunswick High School. Pete Haskel along with Gordy Dale as we bring you East Brunswick Bears girls soccer. And quite a contest in store this afternoon. The Bears against Westfield, a couple of the top teams in the state, Gordy.
Yeah, Pete, and this is not just your regular rivalry. This is one of those games we call a quality rivalry. It's not a case of one team being considerably weaker one year and being able to upset on the other team on pure emotion in another year. This is a quality rivalry year in and year out. Despite East Brunswick's injury list, which is almost as long as its regular roster, you'll never blow this team out by 4 or 5 goals. And that's always because there's such a great quantity of depth and quality athletes, and it's the same for both teams. When you have a Westfield program, you have an East Brunswick program, you always have good recreation and youth programs feeding the school system. So it's going to be a quality matchup wherever you play these two teams.
And you mentioned the injuries. We'll be speaking about them as we go along. The Bears committed 6-2, struggled early, losing to 2 of the top 5 teams in the state in Mendham and in Ridgewood. And at this point, East Brunswick has won 5 in a row. Westfield, on the other hand, comes in at 6-1-1.
And it's hard to tell from the record so far because you rarely ever see East Brunswick at 6-2 this early in the season. But they'll be ready late in the season for the postseason tournaments. Bears
playing a very difficult schedule. As always, head coach Luke Hoser says he would have it no other way. Those 2 losses coming to top 20 teams, at least according to the Star Ledger. A couple of victories as well. Bayonne was one of them and Piscataway another. Piscataway doubly important because of the fact it's a GMC Red Division game.
And Luke Hoser will be the first one to admit that the rest of the Red Division, the GMC, is starting to catch up with East Brunswick. Normally he has to go out of the area to find a quality matchup and get a quality opponent like a Bayonne, a Westfield, a Ridgewood, a Mendham. But now the rest of the GMC is starting to catch up. Your Old Bridge teams like Madison Central, Piscataway now is starting to come on. And it's just all part of the process of catching up with East Brunswick and lose the first person to admit it.
Should be quite a matchup. East Brunswick and Westfield in girls soccer. We'll have more after this. We are getting set for the start of action. 6-2 East Brunswick against 6-1-1 Westfield. And Gordy, something we mentioned just a few moments ago, 5 wins in a row for East Brunswick. And despite all the injuries, it seems like things are finally starting to gel for the Bears.
Well, not only that, but their GMC Red Division schedule has come up on them. They've beaten Sayreville. They beat Sayreville pretty handily, 8-2. They topped Woodbridge 2-0. Woodbridge is a good and upcoming club. East Brunswick beat Piscataway then 5-3 in a tough Piscataway club. Their only really quality win there was Bayonne, even though Piscataway and Woodbridge are both tough opponents.
Blue Devils in the midfield area, knocked away by Karzima out of bounds. And the Bears will try to gain possession early on. Both teams just trying to develop some continuity as the throw comes into the left side. East Brunswick in the white uniforms, green numerals, the green shorts. And the Blue Devils from Westfield in the blue uniforms with the white numerals and a white trim. Laura Buttonbaum, the goalkeeper, knocks it out. And our first whistle of the game, East Brunswick will take over.
Pete, when you talk about this Westfield club for the past couple of years, it's been the story of the Tortolette sisters. They have done some damage against their opponents. Amy Tortolette, who graduated just a couple of years ago, and they have Stacy Tortolette, who's the junior forward for them with the big black knee brace on her left knee. And also Lexi Tortolette, just a freshman. So they keep coming up through the Westfield program. They're tough players.
East Brunswick controlling Bishop on the far side now, and Westfield takes over as Stacy Tortolette knocks the ball out of bounds.
Both teams matching up in what appears to be a 4-3-3.
Inbound on the far side for East Brunswick. Ball goes for Courtney Bloor. She can't get to it, but McLaughlin does. This will be Westfield ball as the Blue Devils move from right to left.
Westfield almost put themselves in a jam there. They cleared the ball up the middle, which put them in immediate danger rather than clearing the ball out of bounds.
Laura Buttonbaum in net for East Brunswick and Amy Korchek for Westfield. And Westfield knocks it out of bounds, so East Brunswick will take over in very little continuity on the early going here. East Brunswick can't control the inbound pass. And now things might get going as Rabbie can't control, now gets the pass ahead on the left side. Racing down is Bishop. And an opportunity here for East Brunswick. It'll be Amy Manuel taking the corner kick, so again, the first good opportunity for the Bears. Courtney Bloor lined up right in front of the net for East Brunswick. Manuel will take the kick. This one coming right in front. Nice save by Korchak right on the goal line, but she held on and kept the ball outside. And a good setup by East Brunswick.
Yeah, it was a nice job by the goalkeeper because she is short. Korchak does not stand very tall, so when they stick a forward in front of her who is considerably taller than she is, it makes it difficult for the goalkeeper to see around.
Good play by Tortolet to keep the ball moving forward for Westfield. Ball along the line and then rolls out.
Courtney Bloor is so tall, she makes it difficult probably for any goalkeeper when she stands in front on a corner kick play like that. And at that point, you force the goalkeeper to either come out or play deeper into the goal. That's something that goalies are not comfortable with. They need to be able to see the ball from the moment it's kicked on a corner kick.
And Bloor misses the header there as Westfield takes over off the throw-in. Becky O'Brien trying to gain control of the ball. She's knocked down from behind. No call, though, as Elizabeth Capano now going for the ball. East Brunswick battling, and the ball kicked into the offensive end for the Bears. See if this one stays in. And it does. And it doesn't.
Well, it looks like Westfield's going to be set defensively for the next couple of years. Christy McGovern, just a sophomore playing sweeper, doing a fine job. She looks tough.
Could be an opportunity for Tortolet coming down. Carla Schwartz gets back and takes the ball away. Tortolet keeps it in, but East Brunswick will control. Jessica Shue plays the ball ahead for Karzima. And the ball knocked out of bounds. Tamika Perez with a throw-in for East Brunswick. Perez one more time, she'll settle it. Not a good play right there.
There's a mistake right there, clearing the ball to the
with
center.
A shot on net, and Buttonbaum makes the save, her first action of the ball game.
Cardinals in for the defense to play the ball back into the middle when you're trying to clear it out, and East Brunswick almost got burned by it.
McLaughlin with the inbound to the center of the field where Bloor takes over. And East Brunswick gives it away. That's O'Brien going forward for Westfield and Perez for East Brunswick. And that rowdy Bears crowd, as always. Play in midfield is Manuel. Westfield in good form now. Not a good play, though. As Carrie Humphreys saves in for the Blue Devils, another freshman on this club, very young club, as you mentioned, Gordy. Rabi with the ball, knocked out of bounds, and now Westfield takes back over. Lori Chelius. Denise Saliola can't play it, so East Brunswick will get the ball back one more time. And across midfield, but Westfield is back. Here comes Lisa Rabi. It'll be one-on-one. Korchak and net. Rabi coming down, switches feet to the center, and a good defensive play coming back by Christy McGovern.
McGovern, a nice job at sweeper, and that's one thing you'll notice in the difference between a club like Westfield and some of the other GMC teams. Normally, Rabi could coast in and get a shot on that, but Westfield plays an excellent defense.
Rabi can't get that one from Bloor, as Karzima can't play it either. And now Westfield gets the ball into the offensive end. Carla Schwartz coming back for East Brunswick and bounces it back for Buttonbaum. East Brunswick in control once again. Ball knocked out of bounds by the Blue Devils, and Bears take over.
It'll be difficult for Westfield to get used to playing that side of the field. This field originally designed for football, and the soccer lines extend on the sidelines beyond those football lines, and the field slopes down toward the side. Very difficult to get used to for visiting teams, and East Brunswick always has problems itself, so it's twice as difficult for a visiting team to get used to that.
And Lou Costa says he's not crazy about that maneuver. The opportunity for a lot of balls to stay and roll out, and you lose some chances. This time they say it goes off Westfield, and Amy Zukas will throw it in. Zukas to Manuel, back to Zukas. Off the Blue Devils player, Carrie Humphreys. And East Brunswick one more chance. Zukas again with the throw-in. Rabi going for the ball. Rabi trying to take it away, can't do it, out of bounds, and East Brunswick very slowly but steadily moving downfield.
Come on, Bears! Come on, Bears, let's do it!
McLaughlin with the pass in. Manuel can't control it. And Westfield gives it away one more time. Amy Zukas, actually she won't take the throw in this time. McLaughlin does again. And once again knocked down. They pick up about 10 yards. Again, slowly but surely. Bloor in the middle of the field, tries to control. Rabi can't control. And again, another throw-in from the near sideline. This is McLaughlin for Bloor. Over the top, and as you mentioned, her height. Tough to throw it over the top of Courtney Bloor, but she did that time. And this time the Blue Devils will get the throw-in. Carrie Humphreys.
You know, it can often be frustrating for the players and coaches who have to watch the throw-ins keep getting knocked out of bounds time and time again, but when you're the offensive team throwing that ball in, you don't lose anything by throwing it straight down into the opponent's third of the field. And once you get far enough down toward the 18-yard line, you just throw the ball right into the box and you're immediately dangerous.
Perfect opportunity of what we just spoke about, the field sloping off once you get outside the football sidelines. That's what happened right there. East Brunswick maybe with another chance. As Bloor gets it ahead, Rabi will not catch up to it as McGovern gets back. Rabi will contend and takes the ball away into the box along the goal line, chips it in front, blocked off by the defense and chipped right back out. Manuel plays the head and will regain. Humphreys on her. As East Brunswick forced back.
Well, East Brunswick almost had a golden opportunity there. Christy McGovern, the sophomore sweeper we talked about before. She's young and she'll be back, but she almost cost her team a goal trying to dribble the ball out of her own defensive third. And when you have forwards like East Brunswick has, like Elisa Rabi chasing you down, you can't afford to dribble and try to make a move offensively. You just got to get rid of the ball.
East Brunswick has controlled play since the opening moments when it was very unsettled. No whistle there on the physical contact. And not much of a play there as Elizabeth Capano just banged it out of bounds at her own sideline.
It wasn't really Capano's fault. Somebody else has to be there for her. She had no other options but to go that way. The Westfield players have to recognize that and be alongside her to receive that. You have to make it as easy as possible for your teammate to get you the ball. And nobody did that for Capano on that play.
5 substitutions for East Brunswick. We will pick them up as we go. As O'Brien bangs it out of bounds, and East Brunswick will get an opportunity. This will be Tamika Perez with the throw-in, but the Blue Devils chip it right back in. This is Shu, and East Brunswick puts the ball ahead. Defense is back, though, as Lori Chelius knocks it back. That's Antonio Lafredo for the Blue Devils, number 3. And East Brunswick will get it back.
Good job of double teaming by the East Brunswick defense.
Zukas with the throw-in, and then the Blue Devils take control. Becky O'Brien knocks it in. It's going to be a foot race as Tortolette comes in. Buttenbaum is there for the save. And she'll boot it out herself, but to no one in particular. And a good bounce for East Brunswick as Marnie Atlas picks it up for the Bears. Atlas comes out to Kelly Pachar along the sideline. Bang back in the middle. And a fight for the ball. Becky O'Brien. She punches it ahead. Getting back for East Brunswick is Carla Schwartz, and she plays it to the outside. East Brunswick almost losing it on that slope, and now O'Brien takes control. And Saliola can't keep it in.
And again, East Brunswick trying to clear the ball into the middle. They can afford to do that against some of the GMC teams, but not against a club like Westfield.
So good play by Schwartz on the defensive situation we spoke about. Into the midfield area. Controlled by the Blue Devils, just trying to gain possession and set up. And they do. And then they lose it on that sloped angle. Luke Cosa heading for cover on that play, the Bears head coach. An outstanding track record does East Brunswick has. Westfield and midfield O'Brien can't control, and Atlas knocks it in. Comes back the other way. Shu for East Brunswick. Bangs it ahead into the box. Foot race for East Brunswick. Char down there. And let's see where this throw-in comes, something you spoke about just a few moments ago. Not necessarily going into the box, but trying to set something up. East Brunswick still controlling as Jeannie Raby's there, and we'll go the other way. Well, Coach, what do you think about that play?
Well, you know, it was like we said before, as soon as you're down in that area, you can't really go wrong with any kind of throwing you do. If you throw it straight down the line, chances are Westfield will kick it out. If you throw it into the box, maybe you get a shot.
Jeannie Raby and Pichar coming in. Pichar in the center. Pichar will get the shot. Score! East Brunswick with the first goal of the game. Kelly Pichar off the feed from Jeannie Raby. And East Brunswick jumping out to a 1-0 lead.
Miscommunication in the Westfield backfield. They did not mark up properly, and Pichar was left alone. It was good defensive marking about half the way. So they only got the job about halfway done. Once Pichar got the ball, then Westfield kind of slacked off, and that was when she was able to convert. So a good job of keeping hold of it and was able to net it home.
Amy Korchak didn't have much of a chance that time. And the Bears with a lead. East Brunswick takes over once again. This will be fought for. Pepe contends there, and the ball bouncing into the box. Buttenbaum is there for the save. Almost missed time to jump that time, and jumped too soon. She boots it out, trying to get something going. Not too much happening as Capano knocks it in. Saliola. That's Lafredo for Westfield on the sideline.
So, you know,
Lafredo will do the inbounding.
Yeah, Westfield will have to make the same adjustment that East Brunswick did, and that's not trying to get the isolation shot.
Almost had a handball in the box there, Gordy. Seemed like one of the defensive players almost got an elbow on it. Buttenbaum will let this one go and get a goal kick for East Brunswick.
See, now Westfield, like East Brunswick, can get a lot of their goals from sending a ball forward and letting their speedy forwards run past the opposition's defense. That we saw is not going to work against a Westfield club, which has speed in the back, and same with East Brunswick. So what they're going to have to do is work it in. That's exactly how East Brunswick got their ball. They got the cross off, and Westfield will have to make the same adjustments if they expect to score on this East Brunswick defense.
Bichar on the sideline cannot save it in. And then Westfield can't control, so East Brunswick will head the other way from left to right.
So the depth of Lou Cosa's club already paying off. Kelly Pichar, a junior substitute, scores the goal. One thing about Lou Cosa's clubs, always has a lot of depth on that bench. He can substitute players freely, 5, 6 at a time. A lot of clubs on the high school level, maybe only 2 or 3 quality subs, but Lou can go very deep.
And of course, that has been the difference for this program, the success that it has had over the years with just the youth programs and the rec league so successful and so many individuals involved. Opportunity, left-footed shot goes wide of the mark as Lafredo banged that one. Another goal kick for the Bears. East Brunswick leading Westfield 1-0. A couple of top 20 teams according to the New York Star Ledger. Chris Black can't control, and Buttenbaum can't take it on the sideline. So a corner kick coming up for Westfield and a good opportunity for the Blue Devils.
Come on, Bears!
We'll send Denise Saliola right in front of the net. A couple of steps in front of Buttenbaum. Right there. Defense is there. Another save in front by the defense. One more opportunity perhaps, and no go. And then Shu knocks it back, something she might not have done. Usually, Tortolette can't get a good shot off, and Buttenbaum comes up with the ball. Shu had an opportunity just to pop that one ahead. Instead, she decided to play for possession rather than to clear it, and East Brunswick knocks it out.
Well, Westfield cost itself a good chance right there. Elizabeth Capano had the ball about 8 yards away from the goal, but couldn't pull the trigger. She was trying to set up for that perfect shot. Instead of hitting the ball one time, she decided to set it up, and East Brunswick defense immediately collapsed and was able to knock it away.
Chelius will take the throw-in for Westfield on the near sideline. Little collision there. Ball goes out of bounds as Pepe contending for East Brunswick, going up against Lafredo from Westfield. little face-off action. Looks like that has the potential for pain, I would say.
Well, you don't see the drop ball too much in soccer, but it's the referee's call. When he decides that he couldn't tell who kicked it out of bounds last, you'll see him do that, or when there's a stoppage of the clock.
So a cop-out is what you're telling me.
It was. If you're a referee, you have to make that call.
That's a cop-out. All right. We'll indict him right now. And as long as we're here, we'll convict him also. Bears will take the throw-in. Chris McLaughlin will do it. Near sideline, East Brunswick leading Westfield by a 1-0 count. East Brunswick is 6-2 on the year, riding a 5-game winning streak. Westfield is 6-1-1. Pete Haskel and Gordy Deal at East Brunswick High School. A gorgeous afternoon for soccer. Bloor with a header for East Brunswick. East Brunswick should maintain possession here, and they do, but not for long. Westfield trying to get something going as O'Brien contends for the ball, but Perez knocks it out. Solid defensive game thus far for East Brunswick.
East Brunswick has proved that it can win the 50-50 balls in the back, and they've done a good job of beating the Westfield forwards to the ball. As long as they continue to do that, there's no way that Westfield can score. But to do that for 80 minutes is not easy.
Westfield controlling as Manuel gets over and contends for the ball, and then knocked ahead for Bloor, but Westfield is there to take it. Westfield an opportunity to reset. A little chip shot in, goes out of bounds. As Susan McCloy couldn't get to that ball. Another sloping out of bounds play as Bizup with the throw in. Something that Lucas had talked about, using the whole field, including the sides of the field, and we've seen a lot of that thus far. Bloor can't control the header, but she will contend. East Brunswick with another opportunity. Cross pass, here's Rabi in front, but the save is made by Korchak of Westfield. Looked like Rabi might get another shot.
Well, she's dangerous when that ball is in there, and she's got good height, so anything that bounces a little bit too high is a good play for her, but she can take advantage of her height and use those long legs to poke the ball free for herself.
Tortolet can't control. We mentioned again, she is the biggest threat on this team. Stacy Tortoletta Jr. with a black knee brace. She is number 10. McLaughlin with the throw-in. Rabi to the center for Bloor. Manuel coming in. That's Karzima. That's Bloor, 41. Karzima, 52. And Westfield knocks it out. This will be a foot race as Tortolet comes racing down the left side, shows good speed. She'll need some help, though. Cross to the center. McCloy angling for a shot, can't get it.
Now, that's the kind of, if Westfield is going to score, that's the kind of goal they will have to get. It'll be off a cross like that because they're not going to be able to isolate Stacy Tortolet and serve the long ball and have her outrace people, because East Brunswick matches up well defensively against Westfield. They have good speed in the back, so there will probably not be any foot races unless it's a real fast counterattack by Westfield.
Well, Tortolet has that bionic leg with that knee brace, but still showed some good speed. Here's Rabi for East Brunswick. She's going to be in a foot race herself. Rabi coming in, into the box, fires the cross, but no one's there, and Korchak will keep it in. Looked like she was expecting help.
It's just what we talked about, though. You're not going to be able to serve that long ball and expect your forwards to outrace one, maybe two Westfield defenders. You're just not going to be able to score goals that way.
Karzima can't get it. McLaughlin does. Here's Manuel. Manuel pitches it ahead for Bloor. She goes for Rabi in the center, can't get her there. And East Brunswick can't take advantage of what seemed to be a reasonable opportunity. Of course, it's easy for me to say that here. They're contending for the ball down there. Westfield controlling. East Brunswick certainly with the better of the play in this first period. That's Shu for East Brunswick. Manuel is 52. Buttonbaum will take this one for East Brunswick in net. And we'll boot it out. That'll be Bloor for East Brunswick. Kind of mishit that one off the head. And McLaughlin contending. Nice move by Westfield's Carrie Humphreys. Humphreys controlling. She's number 14. McLaughlin is 20 for East Brunswick, and McLaughlin takes it away.
Excellent one-on-one defensive play by McLaughlin.
That's Bloor contending, knocks it out, though, off her knee. And East Brunswick fans don't like to even hear the word knee because of all the knee problems they have had this season. 7 knee injuries, 3 of them prior to the start of the year, and many of them serious knee injuries leading to surgery.
Now, this is just incredible. You would think this East Brunswick club has been playing on turf for a number of years and they've just worn out, but it's just simply not the case. They just had probably the worst stroke of bad luck you can imagine, but luckily for their depth, they're still more than an average team.
When I suggested to head coach Lou Cosa that he had angered the soccer gods, he vehemently denied that thought. Although you have to wonder about the slew of knee injuries. Ball played back to Korchak for Westfield. It really has been unbelievable, and East Brunswick really has the all-crutch team here. So many players on the sidelines with knee braces or crutches. But of course, the strength of the program shows when after a couple of tough losses early on, East Brunswick 1-2 in unfamiliar territory, under 500, coming back with 5 straight victories, including 2 top 20 caliber teams in Piscataway and Bayonne.
And most of the injuries are to young players. Tina Karzima, junior back, has a knee problem. She was just lost this past Monday. Debbie DiNicola, a veteran junior forward, she had a deep thigh bruise that actually caused her thigh to hemorrhage, and she'll be out probably at least another week. Marin Levine, another junior, had knee surgery. Debbie Tatara, another junior, was actually getting arthroscopic surgery done on this very game day. Karen Bizup had reconstructive knee surgery, as did Casey Black.
So certainly this team in need of a full-time trainer and probably a surgeon as well.
It's probably the biggest high school injured reserve list you'll ever read about.
And probably the highest quality as well.
Exactly.
East Brunswick in control. That's Rabbi number 50 on the left side. Jessica Shue. 24 is Amy Zukas. And that is Shue knocking the ball away. Westfield will get the throw-in. East Brunswick with a 1-0 lead over Westfield, 2 of the top girls soccer teams in the state. Bears, the 2-time defending Group 4 champions last year, playing to a tie with Bayonne. They have already beaten Bayonne this season. Play into the box. East Brunswick able to come up with some breathing room and knock it out. Could come right back in as Schwartz is there to play it. And here's Karzima. She loses it. Nice pop by Westfield, but off the mark.
Looked like each team got away with a handball in that series. Referees didn't see it or didn't think that it was the hand that hit the ball rather than the ball hitting hand. The rule they go by in soccer.
Interesting description.
If hand hits ball, then it's a handball. If ball hits hand, it is not a handball.
Which came first, the chicken or the egg?
Exactly. That depends on if you gain an advantage, too.
The oft-answered question, I guess, in soccer, as in life. A little profound here, perhaps.
You're losing me.
East Brunswick not losing to Westfield, though. However, Capano can't handle it, and Manuel takes for East Brunswick, then loses on the pass. That's Perez knocking it forward, and she will contend one more time along the far side. Battle for the ball. Perez one more time for East Brunswick. Good maneuver right there to gain some room, and then she just hangs on rather than just kicking it ahead.
That's not a move you like to see your fullback make.
O'Brien goes for Tortolette, but Buttenbaum is there.
Westfield is getting increasingly more dangerous in the East Brunswick defensive third. They have outshot East Brunswick so far 4-1, but East Brunswick leads at 1-0. East Brunswick probably has had the better of the play overall, but Westfield has been more dangerous. They just haven't come up with a goal yet.
That looked like hand to ball to me. And that was certainly hand to ball. East Brunswick in control now. Will get another opportunity as Karzima will line it up. Teresa Karzima, number 54. She'll take the kick. For Zukas, toward the box, can't get it in, nice header. Karzima once again, number 54. And this is Tortolette, number 10. East Brunswick heads it the other way. Manuel gets over 52, but can't play it. And this one will go out of bounds.
You know, look at Lexi Tortolet, number 17 for Westfield, only a freshman. She really moves like a senior. She's going to be a terrific player.
All right, folks, you heard it here first. The Gordy Deal talent appraisal of Lexi Tortolet.
Of course, you can probably get away with saying that from a lot of the East Brunswick and Westfield players.
Well, that's the beauty of it. You can't go wrong.
You saying I don't know what I'm talking about?
Absolutely not. You've always been my favorite soccer maven.
Oh, thanks, Pete.
Manuel knocks it out of bounds, and Westfield will get the throw-in. Darcy Millinette for Westfield. Millinette cannot save it in. So East Brunswick will come the other way, left to right. A couple of more substitutions for the Bears as Chris Black and Dana Pepe report back in. As Chris Black will do the throw-in. East Brunswick can't control, coming the other way. Shu can't play it, but Schwartz is there. Black with a teammate, Manuel. Comes to Pepe. Tries to take it away. Nice play by Pepe. But the official didn't think so.
See what Westfield elects to do here, whether they'll just play it forward or look for the service in the box. They've got some height in Stacy Tortolet. She's camped out right at about the top of the semicircle there on the 18-yard line.
Capano is number 19 into the box. And a header by East Brunswick out of the way of trouble.
Nobody for Westfield even challenged that ball.
East Brunswick controlling. Karzima drops it off.
That's a great pass by Karzima.
Looked like East Brunswick might get something going. Black will contend. O'Brien is there, and then she just loses it. Becky O'Brien was right there, just couldn't maintain possession. This is Saliola for Westfield. Stacy Tortolet. Coming back for East Brunswick is Dana Pepe. Pepe didn't seem set on that play. She had some time, but didn't take advantage of it. Zukas plays it back. Schwartz ahead. Here's Pepe. Can't get it. Tortolet knocks it ahead. It'll go out of bounds, though. Here's the throw-in by East Brunswick. As Zukas makes the play and contends one more time. Shu is over there. O'Brien, Tortolet is 10. And banged ahead. Buttonbaum should be able to get there, and she does. And Schwartz put her foot on it, and I thought for a second she might misdirect that ball past Buttonbaum. It was not the case.
That's always a question you have as the last fullback, whether or not to touch the ball one more time. You can feel the forwards coming on. Do you let it roll and take a chance that the Westfield player might get there first? Tough call.
Chris Black on the far side loses a nice defensive play taken away by Westfield, but then knocked out of bounds. Defense gets an opportunity to come back, though, as Jeannie Raby contends for the ball. It's Perez for East Brunswick, 29. And Zukas plays forward for Pepe.
Stay with it, Pep.
Head ball for East Brunswick. And Westfield clears to the side and out of bounds. So the Bears will get another chance with the throw-in. Toward the box. Knocks in. East Brunswick can't get things set up there. And the ball is knocked off Black's hands and out of bounds. So Darcy Millinette will take the throw-in for Westfield, and the Blue Devils make a substitution. East Brunswick leading 1-0 in girls soccer. East Brunswick against Westfield, a couple of the top teams in the state. Pete Haskel along with Gordy Dale bringing you the action this afternoon. That's Carla Schwartz for East Brunswick. Little foot race and a very dangerous play. Buttonbaum will come out and just kick it away. Schwartz with a dangerous play. And Lexi Tortolet shows some serious speed.
Yeah, it was a good play by Buttonbaum, too, because she's not allowed to pick up the ball, obviously, once she comes past the 18-yard line. And if she had waited for it to come to her hands where she could field it, Tortolette definitely would have gotten there first.
That's for sure. Tortolette showing a lot of speed, and she is number 17. Her sister, Stacy Tortolette, is number 10. This is East Brunswick trying to get something together. Jeannie Raby heads for Pepe. Pepe can't get it. And to the midfield line. Number 7 is Denise Saliola. She's controls the ball. Little maneuver does not work. East Brunswick looking to regain control, but can't do it, as Elizabeth Capano knocks it out, and that's Carla Schwartz for East Brunswick with the header out of bounds. So Millinette will do the throw-in once again for Westfield. That's Darcy Millinette. Millinette takes it back, heads it toward the box, but Manuel's there to knock it away. And a solid foot by Capano as Buttonbaum lets it go out, and East Brunswick will take another goal kick.
Westfield has changed up a little bit. They've put young Lexi Tortolette up top to run in front of her sister Amy. They've kind of pulled Amy back as a withdrawn forward, almost like a third or fourth forward. Amy, actually, or I should say Stacy, actually playing almost a midfielder and forward at the same time. They called it a withdrawn forward.
She's very shy. All right, I take it back. Another mass substitution by East Brunswick as 5 new players come into the game. And not surprisingly, 5 depart.
And they all get their individual instruction after they come off the field. And all the new ones who go in all know who they have to mark and what the responsibilities are before they go into the ball game. So once they get on the field, they're not standing around wondering who to mark. They all know their assignments right off the bat.
Capano will take the kick for Westfield. Boots it into the box. East Brunswick lets it go as Perez gave it a thought, but then decided to let it bounce out, and another goal kick for the Bears. Seems like the momentum shifting very slightly for Westfield as East Brunswick controlled the better part of the early play. And now Westfield forcing the action a little bit in the East Brunswick defensive zone. Bloor can't make the header, and Perez goes over. And she will do the throw-in, Tanika Perez. Bloor with a header, but again, it is Westfield coming up with it. Westfield on the side, Saliola is 7, out of bounds. Throw-in again for Saliola, she can't get it. Good play by Schwartz coming out with a header. Saliola one more time for Tortolette, controlled by East Brunswick and knocked out of the box. Let's see if it can be saved, and it cannot. But Chris McLaughlin showing some good speed there, number 20.
And Buttonbaum probably should have come out and gotten that ball. She sort of came halfway and got stuck in no man's land. As a goalie, if you're going to come out and get the ball, you've got to commit fully. You can't get caught halfway.
Because hesitation killed the cat.
Among other things.
Among other things. 74 Buick, for example. Oh, I'm sorry about that one.
Come on, Bears!
Lafredo for Westfield. East Brunswick trying to get something going. Bloor, number 41 on the left side. Raby in the middle of the field. And for the first time in quite some time, East Brunswick in the offensive end. Here's Raby, number 50. Can't get to the ball in time. Still, East Brunswick contending for it. And Westfield able to clear. 7 is Saliola. And 29 is Perez for East Brunswick. That's Millinette. And in the center is Manuel. Manuel ahead for Bloor. She tries to send it for Raby, but a header out of the way. East Brunswick trying to increase the pressure. Courtney Bloor can't get the header, and they say it went off her shoulder out of bounds. Again, East Brunswick pressing just a little bit, trying to keep that ball on that side of the field, and it works out as Amy Bizzub with the throw-in. This is Bloor coming in, and it's cleared away by McGovern. Not saved, so East Brunswick with a good opportunity here. Even with a box. Bears with a throw-in. Comes into the box. Karzima can't get the header. Out of the box is Tortolet. She gets some room. East Brunswick will chip it right back the other way. As McLaughlin pops it up in the air. Tortolet can't get a head on it. Shu is contending for the ball. And Perez is there for East Brunswick to no one in particular. And Westfield clears from their own defensive end. 10 is Schwartz. McLaughlin for East Brunswick. That's Karzima to Manuel. Back to Karzima. Nice little give and go, but Karzima couldn't get back quickly enough. Here's Manuel for Rabi, who can't get it. Bears with some pressure now. This is Rabi on the right side. Little spin move. Takes the end line, chips it in front. Bears are there. Shot no good. Ball still free. Good opportunity for East Brunswick. Bears will try to mount some pressure one more time. McLaughlin is there, taken away by Tortolet. She takes matters into her own hands and clears it out of bounds.
That was a terrific one-on-one move down there by Lisa Rabi. Just a tremendous effort down by the goal line. It's so tough because you have two lines to work against, the sideline and the end line, but she made a great move to get away from the defender and get the ball into the middle.
Well, one thing East Brunswick does not need, East Brunswick doesn't need another injury, as there is an injured Bears player on the far side of the field.
She collided with Stacy Tortolet as Tortolet made the slide tackle before both players went down.
We will await before guessing as to who that might be.
You know, you talked before about the tough slope on the side of the field and how East Brunswick likes to play that ball wide and expand the field on its width. But some of the new rule changes now that soccer officials are trying to make. In fact, they instituted a couple overseas this summer during the Under-17 World Cup in Italy, and that was they were trying to expand the field lengthwise to get more scoring opportunities and to generate more excitement for fans, get more fans in the seats and more excitement. So what they did was they changed the offsides rule, and they moved the offsides actually from the midfield down to the 18-yard lines. So players were free to roam all the way down into each other's near penalty box, and that really opened the game up lengthwise.
Chris McLaughlin doesn't seem to be too seriously injured, a slight limp as she comes off the field. That is something that you wonder at what point you are diluting the game too much. Granted, there is certainly a move afoot, pun intended, to make soccer more popular in the United States, but you don't want to dilute it too much from the international game, which is so successful everywhere else in the world.
Well, I think it was a start that they made the changes in Italy. The game was changed, you know, during the Under-17 World Cup, and I think those were just some excellent suggestions.
Defense, a couple of players looking at each other, and finally Buttonbaum plays it off the pass from Zukis. One other thing, aside from the slope as you get to the sidelines here, is that the grass is much thinner, because what happens, these games are used for football, and all the players on the sidelines walk up and down in that area and stand there and wear out the grass, so it's more of a hard dirt area than it is anything else. And I guess it's about that time. We are at halftime. East Brunswick, with a very consistent and solid performance, leading Westfield by a 1-0 count. Bears trying to win their 6th game in a row at 6-2 on the season, while Westfield is 6-1-1. And Gordy, for the most part, it seemed as if the Bears had their way for most of that first half.
I think they did, Pete, but only really in the midfield area. They were able to control the midfield. Amy Manuel did a nice job controlling there. Westfield dropped back Stacy Tortolet to try to counter that, and I think it worked for the most part because they became more dangerous in East Brunswick's defensive third of the field, and they created more chances for themselves. I have Westfield out shooting East Brunswick 4-1 in that first half.
So while Westfield had the opportunities, it seemed as if East Brunswick had perhaps the better opportunities, and certainly Bears able to take advantage one time, and that provided them with a 1-0 lead. Again, halftime, East Brunswick leading Westfield 1-0 in girls soccer at East Brunswick High School. We'll be back for half number 2 in a moment. We are getting set to begin half number 2. Girls soccer at East Brunswick High School. The Bears leading Westfield 1-0. Pete Haskel along with Gordy Dill, and we will start things out by making an apology and a correction all in one. The lone Bears goal scored at the 15-minute mark by Terry Slater, her 5th of the year. The assist, by the way, went to Jeannie Raby. And Slater, unfortunately, was missing from our roster when the game began. So we make that correction, and again, our apologies. Terry Slater with the goal, Jeannie Raby with the assist, and Gordy, I would think if the Bears keep doing what they've been doing, they should come up with a victory today.
Yeah, Westfield's going to have to change some things too. I think they made a good adjustment by putting Stacy Tortolet as the withdrawn forward, as we talked about before, and we'll see what she can do because they moved the speed back up front. But I see it now that they've started with the younger Lexi Tortolet in the back. She is not playing forward now.
And those two players, Stacy Tortolet is number 10 and Lexi is number 17. Lexi has shown outstanding speed, but has not been a factor, while Tortolet proving to be the best player, at least from what we've seen on this Westfield club. East Brunswick now defending the goal to our right. Bears in the white uniforms, the Blue Devils in the blue uniforms. Westfield trying to put some pressure on, and Perez is there, but coming quickly the other way. Zikoski takes it away, makes a spin move, and she'll move it to the sideline, goes toward the box. East Brunswick is there as Manuel knocks it toward midfield. This is Lisa Raby for Courtney Bloor with a return for Raby. Raby trying to turn on the Jets. She's got a couple of steps now, showing good speed toward the box. Defense is there, nice cut move. Raby still with control, then loses, as she had quite a run.
A heads-up play by Lisa Raby, because if she had taken the shot, Bloor would have been whistled for offsides.
Back on her.
Westfield now moving from left to right. This is Tortolet. East Brunswick's defense is there as Zukas comes up with the ball for East Brunswick and knocks toward Bloor. Header by Westfield. That's Karzima for East Brunswick, 54. Ball knocked out of bounds, and East Brunswick will take the throw-in, and that will be Chris Black.
You know, we talked about Lexi Tortolet being dangerous up front. She has not started this second half.
That's Korchak coming up with the ball, the goalkeeper for Westfield. Of course, Lexi is just a freshman. We'll keep that in mind. Manuel. Karzima's 54. In tandem with Manuel, 52. Karzima finds some room to maneuver. Chips ahead for Bloor, but it's taken away nicely by Chelius for Tortolet. Tortolet for O'Brien. O'Brien into the offensive end. O'Brien loses control, and East Brunswick pops it back the other way. That's Tortolet. Manuel for East Brunswick ahead for Raby, but the defense knocks it away, and then it's cleared toward the side. Nice save in bounds, but East Brunswick has it. Amy Bizzable on the left side. She looks for Raby, but the defense is there. Knocked out of bounds. East Brunswick will get the throw-in. Amy Bizzab with the throw-in for Raby. Raby with some room in the box. Defense is there to knock it away. And Christy McGovern seemingly getting a break, as this will be a goal kick and not a corner kick. So the goal kick is being lined up by Elizabeth Capano for Westfield. Capano with the boot. Manuel redirects it, and the Bears nearly have some room, but the long kick might go out of bounds, and it does. That's one of those plays also where Raby realized with that slope she wasn't going to have a chance. She probably wouldn't have gotten it either way, but because of that slope, she just gave up on it. Something we spoke about in the first half. The field's sloped on the sides because it was originally built for football and not for soccer, and the soccer field is wider.
Anytime you get a chance to conserve some energy in a heated rivalry like this game, it's always a good opportunity.
Field completely in the shade now. Manuel with a nice boot into the box. Korchak can't hold on and then regains control. Raby was there but couldn't get a foot on it. This is Manuel for East Brunswick, 52. That's O'Brien for Westfield. Racing down the left sideline is Lafredo, but the ball is knocked back to Buttonbound for East Brunswick. So Buttonbound will punt it out. and just nowhere in particular. Is that generally a good move to make, just to punt it out when there's really no one waiting to receive that ball?
Well, I think it depends on a couple things. One, it depends on where you are in the ball game and who you're playing. If you're going to punt the ball up the middle, then you've got to be sure that you've got forwards who can win the ball or midfielders who are tall enough to win a header and knock it forward. I don't think it's a good move in this game for either goalkeeper because both teams can be so dangerous on a counterattack. You like to keep the ball wide.
Didn't seem that was the time to do it either. Here's Rabi racing into the box for a play. Korchak comes up with it for the stop. Incidental contact as Korchak looking for an Oscar. No whistle, though. And she punts it out herself right up the middle of the field. Manuel for East Brunswick can't make the play, as Sikoski does. And now Westfield trying to get something going. This is Tortolet. Carla Schwartz is back there, number 10, and she will make the throw in for East Brunswick.
Well, Tortolet's not getting much help, but she's getting double-teamed every time she gets the ball. There are always a couple of East Brunswick players in her area, and there's not much she can do with the ball when she gets it. They're going to have to spread it out more if they're going to look to score because they cannot score on the isolation.
Foot race for the ball once again, but Westfield is there off the play. East Brunswick with a throw in. That's Black for Karzima. Goes the right side for Bloor. Bloor along the sideline, crossing behind the net, though. And Westfield one more time. Well, again, East Brunswick getting the better of the play in the first portion of half number 2. And certainly, if East Brunswick can keep this up, they're going to come up with another big victory. Goal kick headed by Karzima. Bloor is there. Bloor tries to get into the box, double team there. This is Rabi. Rabi with fancy footwork, fires on net off the crossbar, and Korchak comes up with it. Korchak deflected that ball with her hand. It hit the crossbar, came right back down, and a good reaction by Korchak as she grabbed it.
I think what they're going to rule is that it hit one of the bars above the soccer crossbar, one of the football supports there, and that is out of bounds, of course.
So good corner opportunity for East Brunswick. Courtney Bloor standing in front of the net. You'll take our word for it here. Here comes the corner for East Brunswick. High shot, the far post. Header is high and wide, but a pretty nice setup that time by East Brunswick.
And not a good job of marking defensively by Westfield. You cannot let an opponent come in and have a free shot at the goal with the head off a corner kick like that.
A couple of more substitutions for East Brunswick now. As you can tell, when the players run off, they tell whoever is replacing them who they should be marking. Goal kick for Westfield. As Karzima is there, here's Courtney Bloor one more time. Karzima, 54 for East Brunswick, and the ball is knocked out of bounds. 19 is Elizabeth Capano. This will be Morny Atlas with a throw-in. Atlas going into the box, can't find anybody. That's Manuel. Manuel can't control, and Westfield does. This is Carla Schwartz. Schwartz decides to settle the ball, and she loses it off that slope once again. Throwing for Westfield as it's behind Pepe. She didn't see it. Tortolet is there. She is a major danger. That is Zukas, 24, and shoe 9 clears. Manuel didn't go for the ball. She gets a second chance, though. Bloor on the right side. Bloor on the far side. Nice move past one defender. Here comes the cross to Pepe. Pepe with the ball. Fought for and loses control. Very nice defensive play by Lexi Tortolet, who's now in the game for Westfield.
And you can see what kind of player Lexi Tortolet is. They had her up at center forward before. Now they slipped her back to right halfback. A real utility player. She can do a lot of things, and only a freshman.
Chris Black reports back in for East Brunswick, replacing Amy Manuel, and that is Chris Black, number 17. That's Lexi Tortolet, 17 on the other side. Tortolet controlling the ball. Some fancy footwork there. Let's see if the slope gets to her, and it does. Quickly, quickly, they yell as Pepe with the throw-in for Lisa Rabi. Rabi can't come up with it, and here's Lexi Tortolet. And she can't hold on. Pepe with another throw-in. Goes into the box for Bloor. Raby was waiting for the pass, didn't go for it, but East Brunswick will get another shot at it. Pepe again will do the throw-in. Black in the box, that's Bloor. Tries to kick it across, and she does. Could get a shot on goal. Here comes Lisa Raby, and a header clears it away. Dana Pepe with the ball. That's Bloor. Here's East Brunswick's Perez toward the box, can't get it. And Westfield clears out of the way of danger. Here's Stacy Tortolet. Stacy Tortolet ahead for O'Brien. She was there to knock it back the other way. Bloor contending for the header. Bloor controlling into the box, but Korchak will come up with the ball. So again, East Brunswick getting some pressure on Amy Korchak, but unable to come up with a goal. The Bears leading the Blue Devils 1-0, half number 2. Lexi Tortolet showing that speed, but not quite enough of it this time.
Yeah, she's really frustrated by that because that's about the third time that she has not been able to catch up with the ball.
Here comes the inbound. That's Tortolet. That's O'Brien. Pops the ball right up in the air, and Shu is there for East Brunswick. Lisa Raby drops the ball off for Pepe, and she can't save it as it goes out of bounds. Here's Lexi Tortolet.
We start calling that the slope factor?
The slope factor, is it not? Lucosa says his team loses a lot of plays that way when the ball rolls out. Field is sloped on the sides once again. Once you get past the football sidelines, it slopes down quickly. And those last few yards, you lose it. Here's O'Brien toward the center of the field. Schwartz loses. Westfield contending.
Got Stacy open.
Stacy Tortolet, number 10, with the ball. As she's watched by Atlas. Comes back again. Tortolet. And East Brunswick can't take advantage of that opportunity. Perez kind of fanning on that ball. She'll get another crack at it and clears it away from the crowd. Elizabeth Capano slow getting up for Westfield, and therefore the whistle blows, and there's another injured player on the other side of the field.
I think that's Kerry Humphreys that went down on the far side. Westfield actually had 2 players down at the same time. Humphreys went down first. Capano was able to get up on her own, but they're going to have to take a look. I believe that's Humphreys. Is that the 24?
That is 24. Unfortunately, the Westfield soccer roster contains no number 24.
We've been burned again.
And so it goes. An unnamed, unidentified Westfield player being tended to. And again, East Brunswick really putting the pressure on Amy Korchak and the Westfield defense, and for the most part, keeping the play in the Westfield defensive zone and East Brunswick's offensive zone.
East Brunswick has done a little bit better job than they did the latter part of the first half in being dangerous offensively. They've gotten a couple of good chances. Lisa Raby has had a couple of chances, and they just look more dangerous overall. Westfield, on the other hand, doesn't appear to be as dangerous as they were in the latter part of the first half. And I think part of the reason is that Lexi Tortolet did not start the second half at forward the way she closed out the first half, and they've dropped her back to right halfback. Most of your best players play somewhere in the middle of the field, and when you've got a player like Lexi Tortolet playing on the right halfback side, not only that, but having to play with this slope on the field, she's not going to be as dangerous as she probably can be.
And we talk about some of the dangerous players, certainly many outstanding girls soccer players on both sides of the field, but you mentioned the Tortolet family. Sister Amy graduated a year ago.
An all-stater.
An all-stater. Stacy is now a junior, and Lexi is a freshman, and you wonder what life must be like in that family between leagues and camps and schools and practices. It must be pretty much a taxi service getting these kids to and from games and practices, and I'm sure a lot of the East Brunswick parents can relate to that because of the strength of the rec program in the township. And apparently a relatively serious injury here as the golf cart is being driven on the field to help the injured player off. So much dedication by so many people, not only players, but family members and parents and so many families essentially revolving around what time the little ones have to get to practice or games.
Exactly, and soccer has now become a round the year sport. They play indoors during the winter, and you can play outdoor pretty much anytime after that. So I know there's not many free Sundays, from experience in the Tortolet family, and Lexi Tortolet, probably more than anybody, was just destined to become a good soccer player, having to play against her sisters all the time.
And just tagging along with them at a young age. An article not too long ago in the Philadelphia Inquirer about this one family in that Philadelphia area with 2 teenagers who played an awful lot of soccer. And it said there was a boy and a girl. The boy was probably 16 or 17, and his sister was about 14 or 15. It said it reached a point where it wasn't so much that he was enjoying going to all these camps and being on all these teams, but he wanted the free shoes and the free warm-up jackets. And it said, I don't know how true this could be, but 300 days a year of organized soccer practice, games, camps, etc. 300 out of 365 days. It just boggles the mind, and his sister was not too far behind. She was a couple of years younger.
And 300 out of 365 is probably outdone by a lot of players because, like you said, it's just a year-round sport now. You go from the fall high school season right into your indoor winter season. You come right out with the spring season again, and then all the summer leagues. So there's really no break at all.
Would it be possible for there to have been 300 games?
No.
Okay, so it must have been 300 days of soccer. We are back in action. East Brunswick in the offensive zone. That's Lisa Raby. Gets the ball off on the side for Pepe. Bears will try to take advantage of another good opportunity.
This could be a dangerous opportunity for East Brunswick here. They've just come off a real lull. There is a lengthy timeout with the injured player on the field, and those first 2 or 3 minutes, like the start of a game or the start of a half or the restart of a game, can always be dangerous after a little bit of a lull. And East Brunswick has a good opportunity here on the corner kick.
Amy Manuel comes off the bench to take the corner kick. Signals her teammates and comes forward and boots the ball right out in front. Bloor can't get it, and the ball goes out of bounds off East Brunswick.
Well, you couldn't have designed that one any better. That's generally what you shoot for. You try to get it there on a 12-yard line. In this case, Korchak did not come out for Westfield to make the save. She stayed home, and East Brunswick could have been dangerous. They could have had themselves a good opportunity had they been crashing more.
Westfield will get the goal kick once again. Ball comes straight out. East Brunswick playing for it and coming up with it. That's Karzima. Into the box. Bloor chasing after it. Courtney Bloor knocks it beyond the goal line, and another goal kick for Westfield.
Now Westfield's got to do a better job of marking up defensively on the goal kick. They cannot afford to let East Brunswick win the goal kick battles. We'll see what happens here. They look pretty well marked up at this point.
All right, here's the goal kick again. This is Manuel contending for it. Knocks it back the other way. Bloor might just come up with it, and she does. Back to the net. Bloor with a nice crossing pass in front. Nobody there to take advantage. This is Black fires a shot high, as Chris Black had the right opportunity to one-time it, but banged it a little bit high, and another goal kick.
Yeah, you've got to take that shot if you're Chris Black, and she did just that. Soccer players like to talk about that nice rolling ball that stays real low to the ground, no bounce, and she took a good crack at it but couldn't keep it low enough.
So one more goal kick. Westfield has done nothing with these chances, and Manuel with the first play on it for East Brunswick, and Bears send it back the other way. Throw-in, though, this time will go to Westfield.
And Manuel really using her height to win those 50-50 balls off the goal kick.
That's Perez ahead for East Brunswick. Slater, who has scored the only goal of the game for East Brunswick. Lisa Raby along the sideline. We see that slope factor once again. Ball knocked out of bounds off Melissa Long. And another corner kick coming up for the Bears. And Amy Manuel will line it up. They set up Courtney Bloor right in front of the goal. Manuel steps forward once again. Right in the area where you want it, but nobody's there to take advantage. Perez knocks it right back in. 3 people duck, and Westfield will try to clear. This is Stacy Tortolet. Knocks it ahead. East Brunswick knocks it right back the other way. Here comes Slater, but Korchak comes out and makes the play, and she will boot it out. Stacy Tortolet. East Brunswick again contending for the ball, and the Bears come up with it. Far side of the field. That's black for East Brunswick for Manuel. Manuel with a little hip check on the ball, and it's knocked away by O'Brien of Westfield.
East Brunswick has really taken command of this game. They've just been camped out in Westfield's end. Westfield has not been dangerous at all this half.
This is Sikoski for Westfield. Over the head of Tortolet, but she'll come up with it nevertheless. Off on the left side for Lafredo. Lafredo into the box, and Buttenbaum is there for East Brunswick. Laura Buttenbaum, the junior goalkeeper, with a punt out as Slater contends for it. This is O'Brien. O'Brien and Slater. Slater saves it in, but does not get it with that slope again.
Well, Luke Coates has got to be pretty happy with his goalkeeping situation. Buttenbaum's only a junior, and he's got a freshman in the wings by the name of Betsy Ostrov, who's only a freshman. So she'll be gaining some valuable experience, and she certainly is good enough to play its level now.
And she is gaining valuable experience, not in this game, but she's played in a few different games this year while the game was still in doubt, so it's not one of those situations where it is garbage time, as I was very familiar with in my brief soccer career. Westfield back on defense as Chelius makes the play, number 16.
That's a good job of forechecking by the East Brunswick forwards that time. You know, you're not afraid, you can't be afraid to commit a foul if you're a forward in trying to get the ball for yourself when the opposing defense has the ball. You might as well take a chance and try to get it.
A little hesitation by two East Brunswick players. Somehow Karzima comes up with it. This is Bloor in front, and here is Tortolet. Again, that big black knee brace. Perez for East Brunswick chips it the other way, and Bloor will try to save it in. Makes a nice play to do so, and she'll try to take it back. Nearly does, but the ball is cleared the other way. Shoe for East Brunswick. That's Karzima. Misplay by Sikoski as Manuel comes with Bloor. Ahead for Bloor, but Korchak is there for Westfield to pick up the ball and boot it right back out. Second half action, East Brunswick leading Westfield 1-0. Bears riding a 5-game winning streak, are 6-2 on the year. The Blue Devils are 6-1-1. Zukas knocks it out, and Westfield will try to mount some kind of attack. Lafredo with the throw-in. Gets the ball in. Tortolet will go for it, but Shu beats her to it. That's Sikoski, but Bloor comes back to take it, drops it off for a teammate, and Black knocks it ahead. Still on the Bears side of the field, looked like a handball, but no call, and Bloor near midfield. Into the offensive end for East Brunswick. Here comes Manuel running for it. Can't do anything about it, and this ball will go out of bounds. And Perez will make the throw-in. A couple of more substitutions for East Brunswick, as Dana Pepe and Lisa Raby come in, along with Jessica Huber and Carla Schwartz. Perez with the throw-in. Ball batted about. East Brunswick up with it. That's Raby. A nice play. She's going for Huber. In the zone, it's Pepe now in the box with the ball. Pepe trying to elude the defense. Pops it on net. It's at the goal line. Beautiful save by Korchak. I tell you, she just got her tips of her fingers on that ball and kept it alive long enough to grab it. Great save.
That was a tremendous save by Korchak. What a job.
And a whistle against East Brunswick, so Tortolet with a kick for the Blue Devils. Goes for O'Brien on the left side. O'Brien knocked down by Pepe, and again a whistle. Another one of my favorite parts about soccer, the injury when the players writhe on the field waiting for the call.
Well, you see that more on the international level than on the high school level, but college is starting to pick up on it more and more now. But they really get their money's worth on the international level.
Give it that international flavor with the feigning of injury. Long kicking to the box. Buttenbaum boots it out on the sliding save. Tortolet turns and fires, but can't get much on it. And East Brunswick in control. Raby 50 will clear it out. Seems like she could have taken more time, but things looking good. Here comes Huber racing down for East Brunswick. Huber 33 along the left sideline. Huber looking to get into the box. Nice defense, and the ball is knocked out. That's Marnie Atlas for East Brunswick. Goes across the field Fort Owen in particular, and O'Brien comes up with it. O'Brien into the offensive end. O'Brien going ahead for Saliola, and a nice sliding tackle there by East Brunswick's Amy Zukas. Throw-in will come from Becky O'Brien, one of the tri-captains on this team. Stacy Tortolette and Monica Sikoski are the other two.
Well, they whistled a foul on Zukas on that play, but I agree with you. I thought it was a clean tackle.
This will be O'Brien with a kick. Comes into the box. Header by East Brunswick. One more opportunity for Westfield. Ball's down and it goes over the top. Good opportunity for Lexi Tortolette, and she took advantage of a tough play. The ball was on the bounce and she popped it but went over the top.
Well, it's a good job. When you're in that close, you don't want to take a chance on settling the ball and trying to get off that perfect shot. And Lexi Tortolette did the right thing by trying to take that chance, and she nearly put it in. And they've moved her up to forward, up from halfback. And it looks like Westfield is running two forwards with Stacy Tortolette as the withdrawn.
The scoreboard clock is not operating, so we don't know exactly how much time is remaining, but the clock certainly ticking down on Westfield. East Brunswick with a 1-0 lead, and the Bears, you would think, would take more of a defensive posture, just banging the ball down the other way as opposed to mounting an attack. East Brunswick will take the throw-in. This will be Marnie Atlas. Amy Manuel right there. She can't control, gets it back for Atlas. Tortolette trying to take it away from her, goes out of bounds. East Brunswick with the throw-in. Manuel will take the throw-in. Goes down for Rabi along the sideline, and it's taken away by Westfield. Nice defensive play by Sikoski. Comes the other way. It'll be Perez for East Brunswick, knocking it back. Rabi can't save it in. And Westfield will come up with the throw-in. That's Capano. Lexi Tortolette. And that slope factor once again in East Brunswick's favor this time. Banged right out of bounds by Sikoski, and Atlas will throw it in one more time. Manuel off her midsection out of bounds, and Sikoski will make the throw in herself. A couple of substitutions now by Peter Giordano, the Westfield coach. At this point, the Blue Devils looking at their second defeat of the season. East Brunswick trying to hang on to a 1-0 lead. Goal coming from Terry Slater on an assist from Jeannie Rabi in the first half, the 15-minute mark. Shu clears it to the offensive end. Rabi tries to get down there, Lisa Rabi that is. Manuel tries to get it ahead. Looks like they have an opportunity and an offsides. Lisa Rabi trying to sneak in behind the defense, but jumped the gun just a little bit and was whistled for offsides.
It's only the first offsides call we've had so far today. And
it is indeed.
When the new rules they bring, which should be coming in the next few months, maybe a year or so, that will not be an offsides.
Shu for East Brunswick off the header. Lexi Tortolette keeps the play alive. Good play to her sister Stacy, but Schwartz is there to knock it away. Lisa Rabi looked like a handball. So Westfield will get another opportunity. Again, the clock is running, and Westfield senses an urgency in pushing the ball forward. That's Capano, Lexi Tortolette. Schwartz is there for East Brunswick. Plays it ahead. Manuel plays ahead for Rabi. Rabi in a foot race. Westfield with the ball and knocked out of bounds. Carrie Humphreys will look for the throw-in. Actually, it's East Brunswick's throw-in. And this will be Amy Bizup. Another substitution for Lou Cosa. And the Bears as he sends in Jeannie Rabi. Bizup with the throw-in. Comes to Lisa Rabi. Near sideline. Cross for her sister, and also racing in is Huber. Good speed by Huber. Rabi is there. Now that's Huber, 33. Ball tangled up in front, and Korchak comes up with it. Looked like Huber was going to get a good opportunity, but she couldn't take advantage. Contact between Tortolette and Karzima. And they blow the whistle on Karzima, so Westfield will boot the ball ahead. Ball falls, and Schwartz bangs it out of there. That's Tortolette with O'Brien. O'Brien comes away with it. O'Brien toward the left side. O'Brien looking for some help, goes out of bounds, and Jeannie Raby with the throw-in.
Well, East Brunswick fans, rightfully so, complaining about that Westfield restart. They're kicking the rolling ball. That's the second time they've gotten away with it in the game, and as you know, you can get an advantage when you're kicking the ball as it's rolling. Westfield has taken advantage of that.
Lexi Tortolet with Perez. Ooh, a little contact there. And the frustration beginning to show with Lexi Tortolet. That's the second time she's made a play like that.
Yeah, no question. She is frustrated, and she's playing on the side of the field. I think I'd prefer to see her in the middle of the field because she can operate more effectively, have more of the field to herself.
Lights on at East Brunswick High School. Bears with a 1-0 lead. A couple of highly ranked teams in the state battling it out. And substitutions now for Giordano of Westfield. Bears trying to hang on to the slim 1-goal margin, playing very, very well. And the way things have gone, you would think East Brunswick would hang on. They've certainly had the better of play through this whole second half and through most of the game.
They have shown really no defensive breakdowns. There's no reason to think that Westfield is going to score at this point because they haven't changed their game plan. They're still looking to float that ball, and I get the isolation of Stacy Tortolet, but with her now as a withdrawn forward, that's not likely going to happen, but I see now she's moved up to forward again.
Long ball as Zukas gets back forward for East Brunswick. It's going to roll out of bounds, so Zukas will come up with the throw-in. Zukas on the far sideline. It's Jeannie Raby pounded back the other way, and Zukas will take another opportunity.
You know, we're watching a quality matchup here. You talk about a quality matchup nearby. The Rutgers MetLife Classic this coming weekend in Piscataway ought to be a great one for college soccer fans and for general soccer fans.
Westfield trying to put some pressure. That's Tortolet's hand right in the middle and just knocks the ball back the other way. Huber can't play it. This is Bizup. Bizup with a nice pass ahead, and Raby would have gotten called for offsides on that play, but she comes back and takes it. And they call Raby with a little hand check. Crowd voicing its displeasure. Tortolet can play the ball, went right between the wickets, and Karzima can't save it from the inevitable slope. This is Tortolet working against Karzima. Knocks the ball forward. Schwartz bangs it back out. O'Brien for Westfield. Karzima for East Brunswick. Here's Raby. Raby gets knocked down. And Westfield trying to push the ball ahead, but no go. So East Brunswick really cutting them off at the point of attack. Tortolet against Karzima. They say it went off Tortolet. Another substitution for East Brunswick as Bizup prepares for the throw-in. I would imagine we're in the closing minutes right here. Good play back the other way. East Brunswick, very, very effective play there. And the whistle will go against Zukas. Boot forward, and East Brunswick can't control it. But Perez will go back and take control. Moves it along the side for East Brunswick's Bizup, who will make the throw-in. It's Manuel. Huber racing for East Brunswick, number 33. Huber with a head. Fans calling for a handball, but no call. Westfield's going to need to do something quickly. Manuel goes right side, and East Brunswick essentially just trying to clear the offensive zone.
Emmanuel has done an excellent job in the midfield of controlling things. She's really dominated. And if you look back at the East Brunswick defense, Stacy Tortolet is the only one up there. She will have to contend with 4 East Brunswick defenders should she get the ball.
That's O'Brien trying to slow down East Brunswick. Ball gets knocked the other way, and if East Brunswick can keep the play in the midfield, it would have to satisfy them. That's Huber on the sideline, and she'll get an opportunity.
There's just a big gap in the middle of the field that Westfield is not able to fill. they're not making the transition from midfield to forward. That was what Pete Giordano had tried to do by moving Stacy Tortolette, that is, into that withdrawn forward spot to try to make that good link between the midfielders and forwards, and now he's decided just to go with Stacy up front and try for that last desperation goal and go completely offense, but she's the only one up there, and there's four defenders nearby. And Lexi Tortolette is out of the game. I guess Pete Giordano just felt she was too frustrated and was not being effective enough.
Substitutions once again. Westfield still trying to get something going. And East Brunswick pushes it right back the other way. That's Manuel, 52. She's been all over the place, having an outstanding game. Zukas for East Brunswick contending for the ball. Tortolette can't play it. Perez does. And Karzima clears it out. Lisa Raby's 50 and knocked right out of bounds by Cheryl Krevsky. Manuel once again. A fine afternoon for Amy Manuel, especially in these last several minutes when East Brunswick is essentially just trying to keep the play away from its own net. I imagine you could use substitutions as a time-killing ploy late in the game.
Well, to a certain extent, but the clock never stops.
Which is why, because the play is not going on. Here comes Raby racing. She wants to get one more opportunity. Beautiful play. She'll fire from 18. Beautiful save by Korchak. And she knocked it up again off the football crossbar, so a corner kick coming for East Brunswick.
I'll tell you what, Korchak is not the most mobile goalie, but she gets the job done. She has shown some excellent athletic ability. She went parallel to the ground to make a save before, and that time, you know, she's not the tallest of players either, and she got her fist up to punch that one away. She has done an excellent job.
She has indeed, and really has been the difference. While Laura Buddenbaum has not been severely tested, Korchak has been, and it is just a 1-0 game. Corner kick for East Brunswick. Coming high and far and going over the top, so you can turn that corner kick into a goal kick. And again, substitutions, this being my point, the ball is not in action when they substitute, but the clock is. So if you're in view of the lead, it would seem to be a nice clock-killing ploy. That's Karzima for East Brunswick, 54. Manuel again. That's Slater. The only goal of the game for East Brunswick coming from Terry Slater, her 5th of the season. Westfield will try to get something going once again. Down the left sideline. Zukas cuts her off, the whistle blows. And Westfield will get the kick. This is O'Brien. O'Brien with a kick, knocked off somebody's body. It's in the box now, contending for the ball. Nice header by the Bears. Here comes O'Brien racing back in. Another opportunity. Capano can't take advantage of it. And Karzima's there to knock it away. This is Raby for East Brunswick. Raby with a nice elusive move. Raby's got some company. Here's Slater. Slater racing down. She already has one goal. On the left foot, the left side into the box. Brings it down to the end line. She'll spin it back out. Raby once again. Nice elusive move. Raby fires from 18 for the corner, just wide. Beautiful kick by Lisa Raby, just wide of the mark.
That whole play centered around Lisa Raby. She made the nice feed inside to Slater, who made a good run, but she sort of took herself out of the play because she stopped going directly at the goal. She sort of drifted away toward the wing. She probably would have been better off. She kept going toward the goal and tried to get off any kind of shot.
Seemed like she might have been uncomfortable going for the shot with the left foot. She was on the left side. This is Saliola. Nice tackle by East Brunswick. This is Slater once again. Slater on the right side. Slater in a foot race. Centers the ball. That's Raby. Ball knocked away as McLaughlin contended for it. And Perez goes tumbling to the turf with Tortolette. Some contact there, and East Brunswick will make the throw-in. This will be McLaughlin. McLaughlin going in for Karzima, and she's knocked down from behind. And East Brunswick will get the kick. 1-0 East Brunswick against Westfield. In girls soccer, Pete Haskel along with Gordy Dale bringing you the action from East Brunswick High School. A very solid performance for the Bears, looking for their 6th win in a row. Nice boot, looking for some help inside. And Pepe couldn't get to it quickly enough.
Come on, Bears, keep it in.
Shouldn't be too much time left in this game as the scoreboard clock is not operating. Goal kick, but Karzima cuts it off. She can't control. Westfield comes the other way. Black is there, and she'll fire it back the other way, and here comes Korchak out of the net, and she'll get it out quickly. Trying to get things going in a hurry. Westfield sensing the urgency. And again, East Brunswick is there to stem the tide before the situation becomes too dangerous. And one of those clearing maneuvers as Huber comes down and can't save it in.
I tell you, Pete, the real story of this game has been East Brunswick's quickness to the ball. They're winning those 50-50 balls. If you notice off the goal kicks, the ball is getting right to East Brunswick. They're moving to the ball first.
And this is Tortolet working against Shu. Solid defense, and Tortolet knocks it out. And East Brunswick with a throw-in.
That's good defense by Shu, not letting the player turn. And when the player does turn, Shu made her turn to the outside. So Shu actually was a double team by herself because she was able to play defense and use the sideline as another defender.
That's McLaughlin in there, number 20. McLaughlin once again going for the ball. This is Shu, number 9, against Tortolet. Shu with a good maneuver to shield the ball with her body, get it back to Schwartz, who pops it ahead. This is Huber. Huber on the left side goes for the cross into traffic. East Brunswick tries to cut it off, and there is Slater. Slater can't save it in, and this will be a goal kick.
East Brunswick just has speed all over the field.
Another substitution. Clock continues to tick away. Goal kick toward the outside. Manuel misses it. Tortolet trying to back it on Shu. That ball goes off the arm of Tortolet, and Manuel again will get the throw-in. Manuel plays the header herself. This is Krevsky. And there's Manuel once again. She has been outstanding. Westfield can't do much of anything. This is Shu and a handball on her, so Tortolet will set it down on the kick.
Now see, they played the ball, and they played Tortolet right out of it. They played it right past her.
This is Schwartz who knocks it back to Buttonbaum. And I imagine that just kept her awake because she has seen very little action in this second half. That's O'Brien, number 9. 38 is Slater for East Brunswick.
Come on, Bears.
Throw-in comes into Saliola. This is Tortolet. Sikowski.
Get on.
Sikowski again. Spinning but going nowhere. And Karzima knocks it out to the midfield line.
Up, defense.
This is Huber. Slater, 38 going for the ball. And that is it. All over the East Brunswick Bears coming up with another victory and improving to 7-2 on the season. Bears winning their 6th game in a row, while the Blue Devils from Westfield fall to 6-2-1 and go to very impressive defensive performances. Laura Buttonbaum was never severely tested and was rarely challenged at all.
Well, Westfield certainly had their opportunities. They can't say they didn't, but they weren't able to convert. They were more dangerous than East Brunswick was offensively in the first half. But East Brunswick got the better of play, and they got the goal from Slater, and that made the difference. Westfield just could not make the transition from midfield to forward, progressing the ball offensively, and that really cost them the game because they were not dangerous at all in the second half. And Amy Manuel just took control for East Brunswick in the midfield in the second half and completely closed off Westfield. Any offense they had at all just did not mount to anything.
No doubt, a solid team effort. The only score of the game coming at the 15-minute mark as Terry Slater netted her 5th goal of the season. The assist went to Jeannie Raby, her first assist of the season, and it seems like all of a sudden, despite all the injuries, things are starting to come together And the Bears are playing some good soccer, playing some pretty stiff competition in Piscataway, Bayonne, and Westfield. 3 of the last 4 games, coming up with wins in all of those contests.
And with all those injuries we talked about before, it was just a matter of time before East Brunswick younger players got enough playing time and were able to gain enough experience to compete well enough against a team like Westfield. This is probably their biggest win of the year. We talked about it before. How East Brunswick was 2-2 against top 20 teams. Now they moved to 3-2. And this is a very, very big win today, and a good win because it was a close game.
Well, say what you will about those games gone by. A very important game coming up. Morris Catholic is coming up on Monday, and that is a game which will be the most severe test. Morris Catholic, the #1 team in the state, a team which year in and year out puts up outstanding numbers very similar to this East Brunswick team.
And Steve Racine, of course, he's got a Group 1 school there. So, but he's got an unbelievable amount of talent to work with, and they are certainly a quality program in the state so far this year.
And Madison Central comes up shortly as well, another tough test for East Brunswick. So the Bears come out on top, a 1-0 win over Westfield. The Slater goal was all that was needed, and East Brunswick comes up with a victory. Bears again improving to 7-2 now, 6 victories in a row. Westfield falls to 6-2-1. Thanks to Peter Canamessa and David Ambrosi. For Gordy Deal, I'm Pete Haskel saying thanks for joining us, and catch us again for East Brunswick Soccer.